Hey everybody, welcome to Crawlman RC, where we don't just crawl, we conquer. From jagged cliffs to impossible lines, we're all about flexing rigs, twisting axles, and tackling trails that make experienced crawlers cry. Let's hit the rocks, break some boundaries, and maybe even a few parts. It's time to get crawling. So today we are working on the Vanquish H10 Optic. I'm going to be pointing at a couple things here for a moment in the video, but let me kind of give you a rundown on what we have going on. We've already taken out the battery trace. It's very easy to do that if you're not sure how to do that on your new Vanquish. Basically, what you need to do is there's going to be two rods that go from the bottom. If you look there on behind the passenger side wheel and the shock, if you go directly back right above my fingernails right now, you'll see a little hole there. You'll have your pin on each side, driver and passenger end. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull those out. There's a pin at the top that you pull on each side, and then your battery trays come out. I'm sure you guys already know how to do that, but just in case you don't, there's the help there. Throughout the video, you're going to see me doing things well and struggling at other things, and I have to admit, I have some good tools, some hand tools to make my life easier, but a lot of things I don't use in this video, along with I use my drill for everything just because I know how to, it's a two-speed, but I know how to drill into certain materials to not strip things out. Um, However, I could do it too, so I am doing a risk there, but you know, we all enjoy ourselves and we all kind of, do our own thing. So let's get back to it. So again, this is the H10 Optic. Currently, it's completely stock, and what we're going to be installing today is the Hobbywing Fusion Pro 2300 kV. I have a 1800 kV. I have not yet used the 2300, but I have my Traxxas TRX4 with the 1800 kV motor in it, the Fusion SE, and it went from a brush to brushless, and it increased my power significantly. I'm extremely happy with that, so I'm hoping the same thing will happen here. Um, Other than that, what we're going to be installing uh, is the 3BrothersRC G13 Pro steering servo as well. As you can see, getting back to the video a little bit, I have undone the steering servo horn. So basically, you take that off. Then on the left and right side there, as you see, I'm putting the L Allen head down in next to the drive shaft. On each side, the left and the right of those center bolts there, there's going to be an Allen head. I believe it's a 2 or 2.5 millimeter or something like that. Um, and as you can see, I'm struggling here. If I had the right tools and the right lighting, I wouldn't be having this problem, but it's okay. I get through it by the end of the video. It's no problem at all. Um, so anyway, I am new to starting a YouTube channel. Um, I wanted to kind of introduce myself. I am new to the 4x4 RC world. However, I am not new to the RC world. I've been doing this since I was a child. I flew RC planes. I started on the G3 3.5 simulator as a kid. Christmas came along and I got my first trainer. My dad quickly realized after I didn't crash my first time that it was time to upgrade me to another plane after a couple weekends. So I got a twist after that and just absolutely flew the heck out of that and didn't crash it a single time until we were playing a little game years and years later after the plane was completely worn down. And, it was the yellow 40 size. And basically, we were playing around and put cups on top and we're doing flips and stuff to drop things on the runway. And what we ended up finding was that you got to pay attention when you get low. But anyway, back to the video. Um, as you see, I flipped things over. This is the top view of the optic. I have my rigid drill and my little box that I'm keeping everything on. There's going to be three screw slash bolt, whatever you want to call them, They're kind of screws, you know. Um, you can remove all three from the driver and the passenger side, as you can see distance-wise. If you just kind of follow the frame, you'll see them on the edge uh, where the rock guards would be on like an actual buggy. You know what I mean? So, and now you could do this in whatever order you like. I'm not doing this in any particular order. I'm just doing this how I know how to do it at this exact moment. So, next thing I'm going to start doing is taking off these shocks. Remove those. Make sure you have a bin. I have magnetic bins, but I was too lazy to get the right tools out or even get the correct magnetic trays out to, make my life easier. But I'm sure you guys understand how that goes. Um, Once those shocks are out, um, take your driver's side one out, and then you'll take your rear out. Now, your rear are going to be pointed straight forward and back, where the ones up there are pointed left and right. So, just be aware that the direction of the shocks in the back is different. It's pretty obvious. But if you're newer to working on things and you didn't grow up working on vehicles and understand how those type of things work, I'm speaking to you. And and I may say things as my YouTube channel evolves differently, but as of now, I want this to be useful content that any person at any point in their RC career, whether they're doing it for fun, professionally, they want to get into competitions, or they're just an enthusiast in general and like working on things. Just to tell you where I started in 4x4s, I had a 2016 Jeep Wrangler. It was a JK two-door. I loved it. Then I also had a 2000 Jeep Cherokee. That was also a absolute blast. I loved that thing, man. Um, Basically, I built up the Cherokee pretty heavy. Um, and let's get back to the video actually for a second. As you see, I got both sides off. So I've got all the shocks off. So you're going to have 6 screws on the side, 4 for the shocks, 2 for the bottom, and then 1 for the center, which is going to come out later. And then the entire body comes off of this thing, as you can see. It's very detailed. And now everything's pretty much exposed. Once you get that top off, you pretty much have everything open just as you need. Um, some things to keep in mind if you're not used to material, uh, the body does screw in with plastic on plastic. So for those components, you need to be very easy when you screw those back in, because eventually you'll start stripping those out. It's just the nature of it. I understand that. Eventually I'll replace things. I might even replace things on the bottom end with aluminum parts or things like that eventually to bring the weight down. Um, and also make it a little more secure. But I'm not going to do an aluminum body. I want to keep the plastic ABS style body. It's held up quite a bit. I've ran the heck out of this thing completely stock before I'm doing these upgrades, and I'm very happy with how things are going. Um, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the steering servo here. There's going to be 4 screws that you'll go ahead and take out to remove that. Remember that I had already removed the horn down below that attaches the steering linkages to the servo horn. Um, so just go ahead and remove all 4 of these. What I found is the ones that are behind the transmission and engine cover right there, right next to where I grabbed, are a little bit harder to get to if you don't have really thin tools. So get your specialty hand tool if you have Vanquish Products ones or whatever MIP or whatever you prefer or have it if you have the Harbor Freight or the Walmart special or the Amazon deal. Use whatever you have. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was just too lazy to get what I needed to get. I had plenty of time to do this video and there was no problem whatsoever with me just taking my time and just doing this thing right. Um, this is also my first video that I'm recording for these purposes of doing repairs. So I'm gonna try to stay on task and on target as much as possible. But if I don't explain every little thing, I do apologize. I'm just trying to make a video that hopefully is helpful to somebody out there, as Again, I'm new to these RC cars, the 4x4 specifically. So I'm in a learning process as a lot of you guys are, I'm sure. As you see, I got the SC up top, the VR1, the Vanquish uh, Oh, look at that. Look, I just popped that out. Look at how beautiful that is. That is the stock servo. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off and pull that to the side. And I'm going to put that in a Ziploc bag. And I'm going to store that in a climate controlled environment. That way that servo is ready to go and ready to use for anything that I want to in the future. There was nothing actually wrong with that servo. I just wanted to upgrade to one that had a little bit more power. Um, what I love about this weight-wise is the G13 Pro is a lot heavier. And one thing that I noticed I've been having a little bit of an issue with on this H10 Optic is it's a little bit, you know, uh, it's it kind of leans back a little bit earlier than I'd like it to. And I know that's just the weight distributed at the front end. And what I love is this G13 Pro significantly heavier. And I'm sure I'll post some specs about the weight differences in the stock servo to this one. But again, with the aluminum housing, you can definitely feel the weight difference. It's pretty nice. I really like it actually. I'm really happy with it, truly. I was gonna get a new servo hand there. I have a local shop, Adventure Hobbies, um, that he was showing me. The owner there, great guy. If you have anything and you're in the Kern County area, definitely check his shop out. He's newly opened. And he had one of those that you could screw sideways to hold it in more securely, so it's not just one attachment point, which, I mentioned earlier in this video that mine has already come loose a couple times. So luckily, I'm gonna use some Loctite in this video when I put metal to metal things back on today. Um, because I'm seeing things like the servos as I push down on them. What I did notice is I am actually having the issue where the shocks kind of have a little bit of leaking, but I don't blame that on the manufacturer, on Vanquish at all. I beat the hell out of them. I have definitely pushed this thing to its limit stock already. I wanted to make sure that I tested everything and could see the value in my upgrades and my products. So at this time, I'm going to release the motor and transmission a little bit from the chassis. What you're going to find is you're going to have this one down here in the center. At the very beginning of the video, that's what I was pointing out to everybody. Um, and you're just going to release that with the same Allen head. Most everything is going to take that same size Allen head. A couple of the transmission bolts on the top side are a little bit larger Allen head, and that's about it. There's very few that actually use a different size. Once you release that, you're going to see that the cover can pop right off, which exposes the internals to the motor and pinion and all the gearing and everything for the transmission. I apologize on pinion. Um, but anyway, you can pop your 15 tooth off and all those things whenever you're ready. Next thing is I'm gonna pop my old electronics off because I'm not gonna need that. And dang it, dang it, dang it, I popped it off in a way where there's some double-sided tape that was still there, but I'll just scrape that off later. That's no big deal. I'm gonna keep the receiver on here. Eventually, I'll probably upgrade to like a Fly Sky or maybe the Noble 4 or the G7. One of those two. One of them's a lot more cost effective. But I like the features the other one has in the left hand, right hand feature in case you're walking in different environments and just want to switch hands. So now I'm going to take off the tray that was housing some of your electronics, right? So it's going to take the receiver off since everything's unplugged for that, and it's going to take off where the other electronics are mounted. And as you can see, there's mounting holes on that too. That can be popped out, and you can mount, I guess up to they say 3 additional servos there for different things like features for your V twin transmission if you end up putting that. I just have the stock VFD one, which I hear really good things about. And the front steering the H10 setup on that axle. I'm personally liking it. I've watched so many videos with mixed reviews about, some guys that are saying, Vanquish has the some of the best steering in the game, and some of their crawlers are just some of the most top notch, and a lot of people are very negative about it. And the thing is, I don't have a lot to compare it to, so I don't want to sound ignorant or anything, but I love the steering. I think it's comparable to my TRX4. I feel like it should probably be better, which is what people are saying. And it might be a little bit, but I haven't really adjusted anything with it yet from stock. So I'm going to be adjusting the steering servo. I haven't really had any major limits that I've noticed yet. You'll be seeing some of the videos that I post in the future that'll show some of that. Um, but yeah. So now I've released the remaining screws up front for that transmission, as we are going through the video. If you missed it, I apologize. Just go and rewind there. And that will now allow you to pull the linkages out and get your transmission pulled. Um, Now you have your three Allen heads right there. Your two that are holding the motor in that are going to be separate and a little bit larger, same size as the mount to the chassis earlier that you were doing on the top end. So just go ahead and grab your Allen, whatever tool you have. You can use your drill one. You can do it by hand if you want to be careful. I still have the plastic ones of these. I feel like I'd like the aluminum. If I would have truly known what the kit was compared to the RTR, because I did get the RTR, I probably would have just got the kit. Although, when I got the RTR, I really wanted it. I really wanted to have fun and all that, early on. So, I made my decision, but I'm going to be upgrading everything anyway. But I eventually want to get the aluminum plate here and things like that upgraded in the long run. But for now, I'm just going to do the motor and the steering. And shortly after this video, I may or may not make one, but I'm going to change the wheels as well. I have some that I'm purchasing from a friend that I actually purchased my original TRX4 from. He has some Hobby Soul Force black and gold rims that look really nice, and you'll see those in some of my videos, along with some Proline 1.9 by 4.75, I believe, or 4.65, something like that, trencher tires. Because I was going to get the high racks, but the high racks I heard are very soft. And I feel like I'm going to do some damage to those. But for now, I'm going to try these trencher tires and see how they are. Um, and kind of go from there. But anyway, back to the video. I've taken off the face right with the three Allens there. You're going to use your larger Allen head again, same size as earlier for the motor mount or for the transmission mount, like we said. Then once you do that, the motor will release and pop right out. Um, you'll need the smaller Allen to take the tip off this. And let me tell you something. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this, just from experience and everything. Uh, but not the Allen here. The Allen, as you see, I switch over here to just get a little bit more leverage by using the long side. But pulling this off this motor, it is stuck on there, guys. Like when I say they stuck this thing on there, I mean I am not joking. I heard this in some videos that they say they're really on there and to do a couple things to pop it out, blah 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 blah. I didn't realize how bad it was going to be. I did get it off, but the amount of force that I had to really do to get it off, man, was kind of insane. I realized I'm just gonna drop this in the tray too, just so I don't lose it for later. But as you see, I'm realizing I'm gonna have to pull the heck out of this thing to pop it out, dude. As you see, I'm getting close just to record my tooth count, just to make sure it's right there on the tip and gold. I was trying to get the camera to sync up a little bit on the 15, but anyway, as you see, I have to pry this thing, dude, to get it off, and it was frustrating. And I'm sure there's very easy ways. As you see, I have pliers, right next to me there, along with my scissors. I would not use those scissors for it, but I have some strong pliers. But I knew if I put my pliers up to those, that it would be touching the teeth. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't want to destroy those teeth on that. Even though I'll be replacing that eventually, I'm sure. But I ended up getting it off. It was not easy, but I'm happy with how things are going so far in this repair or not repair video, but upgrade video. And now it's time to pull out the quick run two in one. It's got its controller and the motor all in one. If you're not familiar with these, I'm hearing extremely good things about them. Um, it comes with everything you need with it. That's the programming sheet that you can add to your programming card. The local shop that I mentioned earlier, the business owner was nice enough to give me one of his programming cards for one of the older models, which works for these. So I have that, and I'm going to stick that in the programming later. There's your little quick manual and a couple little stickers. I'm definitely going to throw a couple stickers to show support, especially since I'll be posting videos here in the future. Um, Also, get yourself a little X-Acto knife like that little Husky one I got there. It's nothing special. I got it from Home Depot, but man, that thing is useful. I have X-Acto knives and all those fancy things, but man, I use that thing 95% of the time. Probably it just can do everything I need. Now, a lot of people are saying these Fusion Pros are hard to get into these VFDs, right? So ultimately, I didn't know how bad it was going to be here. I didn't know if it was going to be real bad or easy or what it was going to be like. So I was like, let me just see if I can kind of finesse this because I know how strong that material is, and I definitely don't want to break it because that's going to ruin my entire night, right? So I'm just kind of feeling it and looking around and kind of pressuring it a little here and seeing what it feels like, and I'm like, oh, it'll fit right in there. I was like, okay, that's not bad at all, dude. So if you were wondering if this 540 or 550 size, something around that will fit in there, obviously it should, and obviously it's made for this size motor. But I just wanted to give you a peace of mind because some people mentioned you might have to take part of this or a little bit more of the transmission off. I can tell you if you are very careful, hold each side and just finesse it in there. You'll be able to get it in there no problem without damaging any parts or components. I've now, as I'm recording the audio for this video, I have now ran this at least 3 different times and had zero issues. Obviously, making sure your spacing and all that kind of stuff is exactly right is vital and important to the upgrade. And if you don't do all that correctly, that's gonna inhibit your upgrades here. But if you know the key things to pay attention for, you're good. So now go ahead and get some of your bolts and everything back up and ready that you're going to do to remount the motor to the case. Um, Again, just to go back to some history on me, back to my twist, I ran the heck out of that thing before we eventually crashed it. Then I got another one that was fully electric. Before that, I had only ran nitro. My dad had many planes that I'd run it as well when I only had a couple of those ones. And I flew the heck out of them. We had, I even got at one point I got a VTAL. I flew hundreds of planes for people at the Greenfield Flyers course here locally in Kern County, and it was just a heck of a time. And so that's kind of where my RC passion started, and I've just kind of on and off been getting into it and out of it ever since. We flew scale planes, where we actually have real gas engine RC planes that we were putting cameras and FPV goggles and everything in the early 2000s before it was even a thing in the drone world. And beyond, and we'd use ground-based antennas with power sources and all that pointed at these planes to get high definition video for recording and all that. And that's why I figured, it's time for me to start giving back to the community. I have a lot of skills on repairing things. As you can see, like I've never done this, by the way. This what I'm doing here. I've upgraded an engine in the TRX and the steering servo in the TRX, but um, I don't have any real experience in this vehicle at all. So all this is new. All I did was watch a couple YouTube videos and saw how they explained it. And, I always wish that somebody can explain things from my perspective and how I would see things. So that's why I'm trying to help in providing audio instead of music during this upgrade video so that you can see. As you can see here, I'm putting the three, which I may have said four earlier, but it's only three uh, uh, mounting bolts back to the chassis. Now that we have that motor remounted back in place. Now, as you can see, I don't have the two screws to hold the plate in yet. We'll do that later, but the VFD transmission, as you can see the logo there in the center, is working just good. Um, I'm having a little bit of an issue because what I'm not realizing, and I realized later, is just my alignment was a little bit off. Um, but ultimately, I end up figuring it out here. Um, so back to, why I'm starting now a YouTube channel. I feel like I should explain that what I'm doing here. As I'm getting into the crawling world, I've been doing nothing but making videos, and I've been posting them on Facebook and things like that, and other places. And what I keep realizing is, I love creating content and I love editing content. And what I should probably do is start again giving back to that community and being a part of things in a way that I haven't been in the past. And I really, have gravitated towards this sport a lot already, and I want to start going to, crawling events and meetups and things like that. And I figure instead of me just posting, random videos here and there, might as well just start a YouTube channel and start posting them here because I know how heavy I'm getting into the sport. I know how much I can help others grow. So now that we've got the mounting screws back in place for the transmission, it is time to get that steering servo mounted. Let's get that G13 in here. Look how beautiful that thing is, man. I like that. I love the aluminum, cutouts that it has. It just looks freaking sharp, man. And I know that, once I put the top back on this, the chassis cage, a lot of stuff's going to be hidden, but you're still going to be able to see part of that shiny when you're crawling, man. And excuse me for yawning, but it's I'm editing this video a little bit late. But I'm having a good time, man. I'm having an excellent time, and I hope you guys are too. I'm going to be learning how to, keep my energy levels where they need to be to keep you guys entertained. And I know this isn't the funnest video. I'm sure it's boring for a lot of you, but all you got to do here again on the steering servo is get all four of these bolt screws, whatever you're going to call them. Again, they're really bolts, but they kind of look like screws because their tips are tapered a little bit. And get these bad boys back in. If you are using this drill, okay, if you are using a drill right now, warning, warning, warning. Be very careful. Understand the material you are going into right now, and make sure stuff's on one, and make sure you're on one of your lower power settings when you do this too. I'm pretty sure in this video I'm on one when this is happening, but if I'm not, I should be, and even if I am not, it's because I'm confident that I'm not going to overgo and strip these. As you can see, I've already screwed those down pretty good because I'm trying to get, I'm trying to save my fingers from being super sore tomorrow by doing the heavy lifting with the drill on the way back here. But go ahead and, cinch everything back down, and you should be all set here pretty soon. Um, I haven't said it at all, but I am new to YouTube. Again, like I'm telling you some of the history of what I do and how I do it and what I'm interested in this hobby and other aspects of RC. But I really would appreciate it if you guys, like and subscribe to the video or to the channel. I'm gonna find some clean messaging and a way to say that sounds really good and that you guys like. I'm gonna be getting cool logos going. I've got a channel logo already that I basically was able to make quickly and everything, and I'm gonna be changing that as we move forward, as I get to understand more and as I get to see what I need to create to kind of target the kind of people that I want to be watching my videos. Because I don't want to be for adults specifically. I want kids to be able to watch this and it to be educational because I got into RC with my dad. You know what I mean? And ultimately, I would like, for kids and parents and anybody that wants to, learn how to do these upgrades to be able to do it. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to mention something here really quick to get back on topic. Um, I was not paying attention very well at all when I just snapped that back on. I knew that I needed to have the wheels pointed a very certain way to get everything in alignment, but I did not do a good job at all. And as you can see, I kind of do it here, but I was not paying attention. So later on, I end up taking that back off and realigning it to get it centered after my test drive, because I have to adjust my steering so much that it's just ridiculous. It's over 10%, and I'm like, yeah, no, let's just fix the arm because clearly I just made that mistake, and Anybody could do it, I'm sure, but it's something I should have just paid a little bit more attention to. It looks kind of centered right now, but it's about probably two teeth over ultimately. Yes, I am using legitimate Loctite. A lot of people said, "Oh, don't use, this kind of Loctite, that kind of Loctite, whatever, blah blah blah." It really truly doesn't matter. If you are using the exact size Allen head and you're minimizing and you're not going sideways into your things, you're not going to strip the heads out. And if you do legitimately strip the heads out, you can extract them, no problem. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to be the funnest thing in the world, but you can extract them. And if you really start to strip one of those at all, period, end of sentence, then here's what you do. You just replace it, man, and it's that simple. You know. Um, but I don't plan on, and I'm very fortunate that I don't feel like I stripped out any screws on this entire upgrade, which is very nice. I'm happy about that. Even if I would have stripped out one, as long as it wasn't a major one. Um, excuse me, bless me. Um, Even if it was a major one, it happens, unfortunately. All right, let's go ahead and get the electronics tray put back on here now that our stuff is ready to reinstall. Our steering servo is mounted with our direct power cable there. I will go ahead and zip tie that up to the transmission later. The rods that go between there with the plastic housing. I'm going to go ahead and later on zip tie that up to that to make it clean. Since I am now going to have to connect my LiPo batteries to the steering servo and the motor, which is part of the whole all-in-one system, the two-in-one system of the Hobbywing Fusion Pro, which is really neat. I really like the idea of being able to put that weight down lower where on that motor down there, which is the big thing. First off, motor is mounted down low right there, so that's cool. Um, and then you so anyway. Um, Now let's move on here. So now we have put the body back on, and we are going to screw the three sides back on for the body, or the three bolts on each side that connect the chassis to the frame of the buggy. I'm going to start on the side now. I don't show it in this video, which I wish I would have. I took a video of it, it just didn't come out clean, so I just got rid of it. But ultimately you have to snap it in pretty decent. It has alignment things, and they're recessed on one side and then pushed out on the other, like kind of male female to get into the groove. You got to really get it in place before you start tightening it down. I could see some people not paying attention 100% and squeezing it and ultimately damaging that area. It was I could see where it would be easy to do because your screws would still go in regardless. It would just pull it in anyway. But just be careful. Again, as you saw, I used the drill, but I did not tighten it down. I'm going to hand tighten everything to the exact specifications that I want to make sure that it's as tight as I want. And I'm also going to check on the bottom for this because, there's plastic that's going top to bottom three places, so you can check for gaps along the seam the entire way, which is very easy to do. Um, and an easy way to figure out how to check that and learn that is just, keep it undone, flip your buggy or your car over or whatever you're working on, and basically just have it loose and look at it as you're tightening each one because you want to kind of get each one into place in an equal amount kind of. That way you're not, don't screw one side in all the way, for example. A lot of people know this, but for those who don't, it's just important that whenever you're doing like three things like that, you want to evenly, tighten those in so that, you're not, forcing it over and then you're going to cause damage over time. You're going to have things cockeyed and it's not going to work out well for you. So just make sure that you keep things straight and you check once you're done, which I don't know if I do in the video, but I do check it later, and I notice it is a little bit on one side that I didn't completely tighten it, so I do finish up and tighten it all the way just to be sure, to where I could see a little bit of a gap. So I was like, you know what? Let's just tighten it, and I looked there, and it cinched right up when I did. Um, so it's just always good to double check when you can, because you might not have it all the way in the way you think you do. Um, man, I've been thinking this whole time in the video, and I literally, I'm like, man, where am I gonna put those stickers? You know what I mean? That's what I've literally been thinking for a minute. I may even mention it in the video at some point, but I'm like, am I gonna put them on the hood? What I ended up doing is putting one right under the Sparko part of the hood right there. I put the little tiny thin sticker right there in between there, which I probably should have put it above the Sparko. It would have fit better there. But I put one there, and then I put one behind the on the roof panel, in between Vanquish and Yokohama at the very far back. I put a Hobbywing sticker back there, the black and white one, to kind of go with the theme of the vehicle. Um, Eventually, I'll put my own stickers on it, but I really do like the way the red and black looks on this thing, man. A lot of people almost immediately, do it immediately. They don't like it. I'm like, yeah, dude, like it looks sharp, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I think it looks solid. Might as well scratch this up before I scratch my own panels up, because I will replace them eventually anyway. You know what I mean? So, anyway, just get these shocks back on here. Pretty much. Once you get the shocks back on, then you're gonna get the two panels in the front back on, and then you're gonna get the transmission bolt on the dead center, and then that's pretty much gonna be it before you get to programming here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold off on audio for now. I'm gonna pause it, and then I will rejoin you guys shortly. All right. Basically, right here, I am putting the rear shocks on, um, and it's funny. I'm a noob, and there's like three or four different areas you can mount to, and I was like, man, which one was I mounted to? So I was looking to see if I could find the holes that I was mounted to previously, or the hole that I was mounted to on each side previously, and you couldn't even really see marks at all there. So I was like, well, I could look at the manual, or I could switch this up, or I could do all kinds of things. So what I ended up doing was going, you know what? I want to set my buggy down as low as I possibly can, and then I looked at that hole, and I was looking around, and I was like, okay, it looks like it was set to that anyway. So um, I went ahead and set it where it needed to be, and just tighten it, in there by hand. Again, you're going, into a certain material. Just be careful when you're going into that you don't strip it out. Again, your metal shock, but you're going into your house or into your cage there, and it's part of the structural integrity. Um, so make sure you get it in there all the way. You definitely don't want that stripping out. You strip that out once, and you're not going to be having a good day in the future at all. Because then that's going to create permanent problems in that section, and then you're going to have to use one of the other holes, and that's not going to be ideal for anybody. So just be careful. You'll be just fine, as long as you pay attention to your details, and make sure that you know you don't strip anything out. And again, if you do strip stuff out, it's not the end of the world, man. Just be as careful as you can. That's all you can really do. Um, and then I'm looking and I'm like, there's one more screw for the bottom, which is for the motor plate, and I'm thinking in my head, what was that for again? And then I'm like, oh, that's right. It's the motor plate on the bottom still got to go on. Oh, wait, no. And then I'm like, no, it's not the motor plate. I put the motor plate one back on earlier. Oh, man. But I didn't do it on the video. And then I'm like, where the heck does that thing go? And I'm like, no, I did get that back on. So, got to get the sides to the motor plates back on there. I got the two actually for that, not just the one. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and start working on next here. I have a habit of getting in my head when I'm doing certain things, and I'm like, oh no, it's not there, it's not there. Did I use the right size, this, that, or the other? The beautiful part about this Vanquish H10 optic, right, is that almost every single freaking thing is the same size. So it's very easy part-wise. Things can be different lengths, right? But the head size on everything, except for as you saw during this upgrade video, only a couple things are different sizes. So you really don't have to worry about anything too major there. Um, so now I'm going to get the other side in if I can. Um, Luckily, it's not too complicated here. It's pretty easy. Nothing too tricky to worry about. Just get that back in. I'm going to choose to do with my Allen head that I've been using the whole video instead of the drill here. Again, that drive shaft kind of gets in the way on this side anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this in by hand. That's going to be the easiest route for now. We are, less than, you know, I'd say 8 minutes from the video's completion. We're at about 41 minutes and 50 something seconds or so, depending on how good the audio sync is here, depending on how good I do on editing my first video, which is probably not going to be that great. But in the future, we will get better. I can promise you that. I wish I would have videoed my TRX upgrades and everything. Right now, let me tell you how my GoPro is mounted. I'm using a GoPro Hero 13 to record all this, and that's what I'll be using to record most of my videos. Maybe I'll even post a picture sometime soon on the YouTube channel about my Vanquish transmitter with my GoPro mount that I got from On. So I went to Walmart, got a GoPro kit for mounting the GoPro in the vehicle. But what I ended up doing was finding that that was really cool and everything, but I couldn't do any crawling that I actually wanted to do with the camera in there. So I was like, all right, let me find my actual solution. So I had it walking by hand multiple times, did all kinds of stuff like that. But ultimately, what I found was mounting it on the transmitter, I think, is going to be one of the best routes. And I know people say, oh, hand fatigue. And I'm sure you're right about that. But, I do pretty good with my hands. I think I'll be okay. And uh, and so I have it mounted to the transmitter at the very bottom with a very basic on mount. And so far I got to use it for my first video today that I'll probably post here on my channel with a little bit of editing. And it doesn't show the best of the best scenes, but it'll at least show some highlights of some cool things that I experienced today. As I'm editing this video today along with that one, I'm not really doing too much editing on that video. I'm not even going to be talking in that one. It'll just be a little bit of music playing in the background. But, um, you know, uh, I really appreciate everybody who's stuck around this whole time, who's listened to me, ramble. This is my first time doing this, and I was a little bit concerned. I was like, "Oh man, am I going to be able to do it?" And no, there's that bolt that I was talking about earlier. See for the hood. I took that out because I was watching in one of the videos. It looked like the guy took the hood off, and so I was going to take the hood off to do all this, and then I realized at the very beginning, and I don't remember if I recorded that or not. I hope I don't put that in the video. Those are the battery tray pins that we were talking about earlier. Okay, I put my little keys that hold those in place inside of those in that box when I have those out. I do that as a habit so that I don't lose them because I will guarantee that I'll set those down and I definitely will lose them if I don't pay attention. And I'm very good at that. So my best bet is put them together. That way my battery tray things are all ready to go. Um, as we get towards the end here, I'm just going to finish up, put a little bit of Loctite on the final one. Um, this is ultimately after I ended up driving the car, I took this video. And what it was my steering was off, like I mentioned in the earlier in the video. And so I ended up fixing my steering here because it was just so far off. So applied a tiny bit more Loctite, which is probably way overkill again, but it's okay. I didn't drench it. I just put a little itty bitty drop on there and then scrape some off each time for the most part. Um, and so this is going to hold it in there. I shouldn't have to worry about that coming out anymore, which I'm super happy about. That should be nice. And if I keep having problems with it, I'm just going to buy that thing from my local shop. He has one in stock right now. I'm sure I'll get more in the future if someone does happen to buy that Vanquish Products one. It's like $16 or $14 or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is. I apologize. Um, but anyway, let's get that tightened down in there. Let's make sure it's not stripped out. I did kind of torque it a little bit funky there, right? But it's okay. I'll replace it next time I do any kind of work on this thing just to be safe. Turning is working excellent right now, so I think we're good there. We're not binding or anything like that right now. When we go full torque over, which is a problem that a lot of people see. I'm sure I can adjust it to go even higher than it is right now if I wanted to, if I wanted to program that in. But for now, I think we're good. All right, everybody, it is now time. It's the time we've all been waiting for. It is programming time. Let's talk about this programming, all right? Because I programmed, my other brushless system, and that was cool and everything. But one thing that I did learn uh, was ultimately that uh, the forward, brake, reverse did not work in my benefit. I was so confused. I thought I had a bad motor at first, thought I had all kinds of things going on, and it wasn't that at all. It was just uh, it was literally just me not realizing how that specific thing works. You know what I mean? Um, so if I would have just realized that, then I would have had no problems whatsoever. Um, so, basically, we're going to go through every single one of these items and set these up in a way that makes the most sense for me. Right now, basically, you're going to have each setting that you can custom set. If you've never done this, basically, how it works is the first number is going to be your item, and then your second number is going to be your value. Okay. Um, and basically, you just have to program it to the right things. Okay. So each one of them, each item is going to have a value that you need to set to a very specific way. Okay. Depending on what you're doing with your exact electronics. Now you can follow my exact ones except for the forward, brake, and reverse. I would just leave that one default if I was you. I'll tell you which option that is here in a second. I don't have my programming card in front of me, unfortunately, and I can't see it in this tiny video that I'm doing right now. But ultimately, it's I did find one. So. Item number one is going to be your running mode, okay? That's going to be forward and reverse is going to be your default, right? I set it to option 2, forward, reverse, or forward, reverse, and brake. And what I found was I did not like that. It tripped me up, okay? So go ahead and leave item number 1 set to 1 for most people. Item number 2, just leave it on 1 unless you want to specifically set it to 3S, which I'm mainly going to run 3S on this, but I might run 2S every once in a while. I do have batteries that have the right connectors for it. So I'm going to leave mine on auto in the future, but I could leave it on option 3 if I wanted. Item number 3 is going to be your cutoff voltage. Leave that on 3 for the most part. Item number 4 is going to be thermal protection. And on that one, you can just leave it default CCW. BEC voltage, I'm going to leave that where it is. And then, next one is item 7 is drag brake force. Default is 5. Items 8 is drag brake rate. It's 5. 9 is max reverse force. 10 is max brake force, 11 is RPM decrease rate, 12 is punch, and 13 is neutral range. Okay. Um, I would look up the specifics on people who know how to program those very well to see exactly how they do it. But thank you very much for watching my video today. I hope that it was useful to some of you, and I hope that some of you come back soon. It's been a great time with you guys, and I hope that you guys have a great remaining day. This is my first video of 2025. I hope that you guys like and subscribe to the channel. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you out there on the trails.